Hello and welcome to this Strategies for Better Chess video. I don't know if you can see, I did not get into a fight, but I scratched my nose pretty bad. So anyway, I don't even know if you can see that. Let's try and play some bot games here. We'll play against some bots. We'll start in this first video. Maybe I'll do a series of these videos, but I'll do the first video with beginner bots. That way you can learn what strategies to use when your opponent makes a mistake. And we'll do 5-minute blitz games. So let's begin here. Let's see here. 5-minute with a 5-second increment. Okay, we have the white pieces, so let's begin here. If you're a beginner and you're starting out, a good strategy is to play e4 because the game usually opens up in the center. Now, if your opponent makes a mistake like this and does not control the center and allows you to put both pawns in the middle, that's usually a good strategy. And here, if they allow you to chase a piece, now they are spending time running, and it's allowing you to get in some attacks, chase them away. Now you can develop as they run. Okay. What do we want to do here? Well, we'll just continue development. Where might be good to place this? We'll go here, maybe line up on this weak F pawn that's only protected by the king. They may try and attack us here. So, and if they're going to give you a free pawn, I guess I could take that and chase the knight. And now the knight was trapped, so we go ahead in material. So now, what we want to do is try and use our extra material. Now, sometimes you might not want to castle with a rook lined up on you here, but now it's moved away already. All right, so I'm going to line up on their king. And then, here they're allowing us to capture a more valuable piece with a less valuable piece. So if you can't go after the king directly, then a lot of times it's a good idea to just knock out the pieces. Okay, so here we have a little attack available. So let's take a pawn, attack the king. We can start, going in here after the king a little bit. So then we could pick off a knight. All right. What is best here? Maybe just pick off the knight. We could open things up even a little more. All right, I'll just go after the material. So a good strategy is once you get enough material, well then it's really hard for your opponent to do much. What should we try now? We'll just open things up a little bit more here. Now we could attack. So we'll line up here attacking, kind of drawing the king down even further. So now, is there a way to check again? Why not? We'll just keep checking. So here, what can we do? We're kind of running out of options. We could just attack again. So let's just attack one more time. Then we'll go here to protect this pawn. Okay, so we have a capture there. But that could allow us to attack the queen. So we'll go ahead and do that. Attack the queen. Oh, and he just gives up the material. Okay, so now we can just circle in around the king. We might as well knock out this bishop with a check. Then what do? We can chase the king up into this corner. and then try and go for a mate here. All right, how do we do that? Right here, looks like a checkmate. Okay, so a strategy here, whenever you have a queen that can deliver a check, there are different little patterns. So one pattern here that you can use is that the queen, when it's on one of the side squares, here, here, or here, any of these, well, once you check the king from there, the queen will cover all the squares here, 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 and here. And the only two it doesn't cover are the opposite corners here. So, if you're not covering these opposite corner squares here and here, well, then you just have to make sure the king cannot escape there and you can deliver mate. So that's an interesting little pattern to know. All right, I'll do, run it through the game review real quick and see what kind of mess we had. So we played at 77.7% versus the bot's 55.3%. So, at a lower level like this, if you play a lower leveled opponent that are making a lot of mistakes, you just want to try and capitalize on the mistakes. Go after the king if they leave their king open. If you can't, then try and go after pieces and pawns that they leave unprotected. So a good strategy is to snatch those up and use your extra material to win. So it says the computer played at a 150 level versus our 1300 level here. So I did have 2 misses and 2 inaccuracies, but they had 5 inaccuracies and 3 mistakes. All right, so we'll move on to another bot here. So let me find the bots, play the bots, and I'll jump it up. That was a 550 rated one. So we'll go to the next higher level, a 1700 rated bot. Okay, and let me make sure everything's set up for another 5-minute game. We'll add a 5-second increment so I don't run out of time. All right, so here we go. Random color, and we have white again. Okay, so I'll start out once again with E4, a good solid opening. Now here, if your opponent attacks you, you have to make a decision. Do you protect? You don't want to ignore, or they can just capture your pawn for free. So your other option is to capture them. So I'm going to capture, and now they have to recapture with their queen. But this gives me time to attack their queen with my knight. So normally they would retreat the queen, but a beginner might try and keep checking you here. So what are the options? I'm going to go ahead and just block with the bishop, so it helps me develop, and now my knight can move up here and attack their queen. Okay, so they're forced to run again. I can just go ahead and castle. And so a good strategy is to get more of your pieces developed than your opponent. He only has 2 developed, and now, we have a little trap here. So take a look at this and see if you can figure out what the trap is that we can play against our opponent. So here is the problem with only having 2 pieces developed, and we have 1, 2 knights, a bishop, and a rook. So 4 pieces developed, and our king is safe, and theirs is not. So a good strategy is to castle early in the game and castle often. Get that king safe on the edge of the board, because now we can capture their knight, and they did not capture. If they capture our knight, the trap would be to check their king here, and they would either have to block with the queen. Well, they can't if the queen would capture our knight. We would check and have a discovered attack on the queen. So Now we might as well just check our opponent. Now their king is stuck in the center. What do we do now? We could just check them again. Now the king is running, even further into the center. All right, so we need more material. Usually it takes 3 pieces or more. We only have these 2 attacking the king. The rook is helping a little bit. So let's try and open things up a little bit around this king. Okay, so we will attack that pawn. They've traded off queens, but this kind of helps us restrict the king a little bit more. Now we can deliver a check. They just block. And we'll just go ahead and capture with check. And now, because our pieces are better developed, we can just capture here, and we're backed up by our rook. So, we're pretty much winning now. We could even retreat and have a discovered check and then pick off this rook over here. So why not do that? Go after even more material. So now we can pick that off. We could attack the knight, or we'll just go down here and centralize our bishop. Okay, so a mistake beginners make is when they're behind in material, they just trade off even more material. And that's usually not a good idea. Okay, so now we can attack, put our rook on this open file. Let's see, start chasing. Do we want to do that though with the bishop? Because then the king can just go back up there. All right, we'll do that because maybe we'll get another discovered attack. Okay, instead he heads this way. So let's just keep the pressure on. All right, now what do? We just attack again. He blocks with the knight, so we have a pinned piece, and a good strategy is to pile up on the pinned piece when you can. So we'll attack, and the king is really running out of options here, and so we're able to deliver a mate with the pawn here. Okay, so what strategies were used in that game? Well, you want to develop your pieces more quickly than your opponent, and then use your pieces that are developed to get an attack going before your opponent can develop his pieces to stop it. So let's look at the game review here. See what the computer says about this game. All right, it's not working right here. What happened? Okay, let me look at the game review this way. I don't know what it is doing here. All right, game review. Looks like it does not want to review. Come on, chess.com, what are you doing? Huh. Okay. Game review. It is not working, the game review. I don't know what, I mean, sometimes there's issues with, with the different functions on chess.com. I don't know if so many people are playing. All right, I'll try this, well, I don't know. I guess we're not getting a game review. Come on, computer. What is going on here? Yeah, nothing is working. Very nice. Okay, well, come on. Game review. Nothing is working here. Maybe I can move the pieces around. Huh. All right, game review. Come on. All right, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. It's just not working. I guess we'll go on to another game. All right, let's play here. And now chess.com just doesn't even want to work at all. Okay. Nope, I don't want to play online. Oh, come on. I want to play bots. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with this thing. We'll just go on to another game and see what we can learn. And I'll bump it up a little bit harder because, as you move up and play harder opponents, it's going to be a little more difficult. Okay, why is it not giving me the options on what bots to play? Okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties here. Play bots. All right. Are you going to give me the option to see what they are? Okay, we're going to move on. We played a 700. First was a 550, then a 700. So we're moving to an 850 level bot. So a little more difficult, but it's still at a beginner level. Okay, so random color, and we'll make sure it's another 5-minute game with a 5-second increment per move. All right, here we go. Okay, they're not fighting for the center, and you'll see beginners do that a lot. But if you want to play better chess, strategically, you want to control the center of the board. How do you do that? You place pawns in the center, or you have pieces that are attacking the center. And if they let you put both pawns in the center, you're really controlling a lot of space by doing that. You could even put 3 pawns in the center. So maybe we'll do that as well. But you have to be careful moving too many pawns before you get your pieces developed. So I'm going to start developing my knight because it's a slower piece. And now they just want to keep pushing forward here. So what I'm going to do is they're really restricting my knight, to where I can only move my knight here. So I'm going to go ahead. Well, and now my pawn would be unprotected. So I'm going to develop this bishop to protect the pawn, move the other bishop out, and then I can bring my knight in here behind. Okay, so I'm going to go there. And they're moving all these pawns, which is a beginner mistake. All right, so I can go ahead and capture towards the center, which is usually a good strategy. All right, so now I might as well develop another piece here. And now we're lined up on their bishop. Okay, they go ahead and capture mine. Now, where do I want to castle? Do I want to castle here with these pawns already pushed down the board? I think instead I'm going to castle the other way. All right, so they try and open things up. I might ignore that. Bring my rook up here and line it up on their king. And maybe now I can just start pushing forward to try and open things up. So, If we go here, they could take our pawn. So before I figure out what I want to do, I'm going to move my king over and then grab this half open file with the rook. Okay, so here we might as well grab a pawn and develop our knight up the board a little bit more. Okay, so now they're just going to give away a bishop. So, like I said, a good strategy is if your opponent gives you material, unless you see a trap, take that extra material, and then you can use that to win the game. All right, what now? Well, let's see. Let's take that, advance our knight. Oh, and so they're going after this. All right, well, one thing we could do is attack this rook and then threaten to move up here with a check. Okay, and they're not even going to try and protect that, so let's snatch that up. And then we'll go back to where we were, threaten to move up here and attack their king. But once we do that, we have to look for a follow-up. We check the king, it's going to run towards the center here. And then what do? Well, we can pick off the knight and then trade queens if we want. Unless we have a better move. Should we run down here with a check? That's a possibility. But then what do we have? So I'm already ahead. I'll just trade down materials. So that's a good strategy to play better chess, is if you are in the lead, you can try and just start trading down material. Okay, so let's start pressing our pawns forward, limit the scope of the knight, but now the knight just gives itself up for a pawn. Okay, so now we'll just move our knight forward and might as well just start pushing our pawn up the board. Put a rook in behind it now. We want to make sure we protect our bishop. So we'll just start pressing this pawn forward and promote it. All right, I hope you're not getting bored, but yes, this is what you can do, is just use your extra material to promote your pawns, forcing the opponent to give up his last piece there for the queen. And then we'll just try and trap the king with our two rooks. So we'll move up here, box our opponent's king in, and then we can deliver a mate. All right, so there you go. Let's see, do a game review here, if it'll let me. Come on, where is the game review? Where's the option for the game review? What is going on here? Yeah, something is wrong with this. It's not... Chess.com does not seem to be working. I wanted to do a game review on these, but nothing seems to be working right. See, it just says checking for mistakes. Come on. What is wrong with this thing? Let me get out of this for a minute and then go back in. Play bots. All right, we're looking for what here? We just did an 850 level. So I'll bump it up a little bit harder here. We'll go to an intermediate bot. What is this one? A 1000 rated bot. So random color. Once again, we'll do a 5-minute game with a 5-second increment. All right, here we go. Let's see what we can learn. Okay, so now they're attacking the center a little bit more. Okay, but they still placed a flank pawn, and now there's 2 flank pawns. Okay, we could just grab this pawn here. All right, and now they have developed a piece. So, you know, we could probably go ahead and develop our knight as well. Maybe try and fight for space on the king side. Now we have a nice outpost for our knight. So we could jump our knight up here at some point. But before I do that, I think I'm going to develop this knight, then try it. Now this is an interesting strategy. Bring this knight up and then the other knight in here behind it. So now if he captures, I'll be able to recapture with the other knight and stay on this outpost. All right, so now I need to figure out, you know, which way to go from here. He could just develop and attack my knight. So I'm going to play this. You know, that way the knight could jump back. Oh, and then I'm attacking this pawn, so maybe I'll go after the pawn, but I have to be careful. There could be tactics there. So I'm going to go here to avoid any... Okay, well that was a terrible move. They just gave up their queen for that piece, which is something, I don't know, the only thing about playing the bots is that they kind of make some moves that a normal person wouldn't usually make, maybe to get the rating down lower. So now I'm ahead in material. I can just start, you know, picking off pawns with my extra material. We might as well go here, fortify our center. Okay, now where do we want to castle to? We could still go ahead and castle kingside if we want. This bishop could try and... All right, I'm going to go here, swing my bishop around maybe. I'll put my king here. Okay, I'm just going to trade off more material. Even though I'm giving up the bishop pair, I have an extra queen. So that'll be enough. And let's see. We'll go here, get out of the line of fire of his bishop in case things open up. And let's see. And we'll line our rook up with their rook. Okay, so I'm going to push forward here. Now we might as well just capture, open things up for our rook. Might as well pick that off, activate our rook. Okay, now we could attack their knight. Okay, and we have a counterattack. But we could check here. So we'll go ahead and check. Then I could even get this passed pawn moving. Now my queen is activated as well. So let's bring the other rook into the game, but first let's drive the knight away. So we have a capture here. I'll just recapture. Do we trade off? Why not? Just trade off more material, pick off the knight. So yeah, now we're just really ahead. Activate our queen. What now? We'll just jump up here around the king and really get some threats going. Okay, let's attack, and we can deliver a mate here. All right, now, will this thing let me do a game review? Let's see. Game review. All right, looks like it is. So I played at 76.9% accuracy versus their 71, 1400 versus 950. Okay. Well, I'll try and get in one more game here, and we'll see what we can learn. I'll bump it up to a higher bot. So play bots, and we'll move it up to... So we were at 1,000. Let's go up to the 1,100 player here. All right, so we're playing an 1,100 bot, and make sure we have a 5-minute game with a 5-second increment per move. All right, here we go. Okay, we have the white pieces. So I'll try something different here just to give you, a different opening to look at. All right, I played d4 instead of e4. They pushed this pawn on the side, so I'm going to go ahead and snatch that pawn up for free. So now they've just given us a free pawn. I'm going to try and set up, I wanted to set up the Jabava London opening. All right, so they are attacking me. Could move down here to help control the center. Now, what next? I'll just develop my knight. Maybe I can attack their bishop. Okay, so now I grab a pawn and I get to attack their bishop. So let's take their bishop pair, which is a good strategy, getting rid of your opponent's bishop pair. And now, we could just grab this pawn as well. Grab the pawn, and we're threatening a fork here. Okay, so now we have a check. So we'll go ahead, attack. So we trade off, and we're still threatening the fork. How will they handle that? Okay, they ignore it. So we'll go ahead and fork and take the rook. So we'll grab the rook, and then might as well, should we take that? Instead, we'll just line up on the king here first. Okay. Now, is that really helping me to take that, though? let's develop another piece. So that's something to think about, in your strategy and when you're playing is, should you go for material or develop your pieces? Well, we're already ahead in material, so let's finish our development before we try anything too crazy. We could just continue to trade off pieces here, but should I give up my bishop pair for nothing? Is that necessary? And here I might as well just pick off this pawn, because now I can check, pick off the pawn. Okay, then we can just step to the side here and get ready to pick this off with a check and double our rooks up as well. So we'll do that. And we can just go ahead and fork here. So yeah, a lot of mistakes here with this, even with this intermediate bot. Okay, now how do we continue attacking here? Well, we could just try and trade off more material. Do we want to do that though? All right, we could just attack the king. Okay, now this allows us to go here. All right, yeah, let's just trade down material here. We'll just keep trading. We'll go there. Now if the bishop captures, our rook can capture, and so we're just trading off material, and then we grab the bishop. So this is the strategy to use. Now if you're ahead in material like this, you can just pick off the rest of their pawns and start helping your pawns to promote with your extra material. We have the king trapped here, so might as well just push up another pawn. Oh, yeah, see, I gave up my rook there because I wasn't paying attention. All right, no matter. We're still ahead enough to win. So let's use our king to oppose theirs. We can pick off that pawn, get our bishop to safety. All right, so now, let's see. We'll just press our pawns forward, oppose his king, and keep our pawns moving. Oppose the king, and just keep pushing forward. All right, so now we could bring this up to keep the king from being able to move over any further, and then just move all these pawns forward. We'll slowly squeeze the king so he's running out of room here. Until we promote one of them. All right, now you have to watch out that you don't stalemate your opponent. So let's move this bishop back, and then we can start pushing forward here. All right, anyway, yeah, you'll see now we can just promote this pawn to a queen and end up winning here. All right, well, I'll try and do the game review. I did have that blunder where I gave up my rook here at the end, not paying attention. But it looks like I played a 1750 level versus their 900. Mistakes. They had 5 inaccuracy, 3 mistakes. I had 3 inaccuracies and 1 miss. But I don't know. I would say that giving up that rook was kind of a blunder there, but I was already ahead, so it didn't make a difference. All right, well, I'll wrap it up there. Maybe I'll do another video with more chess strategies as I play against these bots. And I'll up the level so it's a little more difficult, because these bots at the lower level, they just make a lot of mistakes. And some of them, the average person might not even make some of these mistakes unless it's an outright blunder. All right, well, feel free to leave comments as usual. Like and subscribe to support the channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching and have a super chess day.